What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of What the Elle. I'm your host, Elle Kramer, and today I am back with another episode, and I'm going to be talking about relationship red flags and things that you should avoid whenever you are perhaps talking to somebody, perhaps dating them. Doesn't really matter. It can be honestly anything. And if you haven't noticed, I did cut my hair. I cut it off a few inches. I think it was time for me to not have that hair anymore. It was dead weight. So, without further ado, let's get into today's topic, which is top relationship red flags you should not ignore whenever you're dating somebody. So, let's just get right into it. So, the first one that you are going to want to avoid is if the person that you're talking to avoids future talk. If they are dodging conversations about your future together, it's a no-go, and they are not in it for you. They are in it for short-term goals. However, this is important to not be confused if this is early on. Perhaps they aren't ready to talk about being in a relationship so early. Like, that's normal. Some people aren't as receptive to that, and that's completely fine. But if y'all been together for a number of months and he's still not mentioning the future to you, no. On to the next. Thank you, next, babe. Because if they're talking like that right now, then imagine what it's going to be like in 5 months. You're just going to be getting hurt more because you're waiting for them to want to spend the future with you whenever they've already made it clear that they're probably not going to. So in that case, it's just it's best to walk away in those situations. Number 2, if they don't follow through, he can't complete a simple task. No, thank you. He asks you to give him a back massage. You give him a back massage. He doesn't give you one back. Nuh-uh. We don't like that because that's non-reciprocational energy, and they're not reciprocating the stuff that you need right now. Then imagine it from 5 years now. It's just going to get amplified to be even more worse. Like, it's just a clue about their reliability, and it's going to be later down the line. You want to be able to rely on your partner. You want to be able to know that I'm with somebody that I can count on, and you don't want to be in. Number 3, the question deflector. So the question deflector, he doesn't ask you anything about yourself, but gets defensive when you ask too many questions. This shows a lack of interest in getting to know you, and also it shows that they are probably have some skeletons in the closet that you don't even need to be in that realm. You don't need to see those skeletons. Those skeletons have been skeletons for years and years. Let those skeletons rot in that closet, okay? You walk away. You keep your dignity intact because you are a hot girl or a hot boy. Doesn't matter, but you're walking away. Because if they are deflecting your questions, why are they deflecting your questions? Also, like, why would you want to be with somebody who doesn't want to answer questions? Like, that's weird. In one of my previous relationships, one of the guys that I was with hated whenever I would ask questions. He said that was one of my worst personality traits. He was like, one of your red flags is that you ask too many questions. Oh, I'm sorry that I wanted to get to know you, my freaking partner. Like, what? How am I asking you too many questions? Anyways, make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. So if they're telling you that you're asking too many questions or they deflect questions, bye-bye. Good luck, Charlie. Thank you, next. That's why I'm wearing red nails today, but I'm wearing a green shirt because one of us has to be the green flag in here, okay? But just to add a little bit of spice, I decided to paint my nails red. So, moving on. So, number 4, they are an ego overdriver. They constantly talk about their achievements, and they use the word female like a derogatory term. And this is a huge red flag for someone with an inflated sense of self. Also, I don't want to be defined as being a biological specimen. Like, I don't like being called a female just as much as the next girl doesn't like being called a female. Like, if your boyfriend is over there addressing all of us as females, I don't know. I just rather be called a woman. And I've talked about this on another episode where we were like, this is an ick, don't call girls females. It's true, it's derogatory, men can fight about it in my comments all they want, but it's true. As a woman, nobody likes to be called female. It just feels like we are being stripped of our basic human right. I don't know. Like it just is derogatory, and we're not just biological. Number 5, somebody who belittles your interest. You don't want somebody who belittles your interest, because whether it's your favorite hobby or your career, if they make you feel small for loving the things that you love, he's not the one to support your passions. I'm sorry. He's not the one for you. And they wouldn't make you feel stupid for doing what you love. They wouldn't say that you're spending too much time doing what you love because they know that you love to do it. Like, for example, I love to make content. So if my partner is saying I spend too much time on my phone making content, and he doesn't understand that I'm trying to like grow my social medias and like want to have that digital diary, like I've always loved taking pictures. You are never ever going to take that aspect away from me. So don't try. First of all, that is part of who I am. That is like part of my identity at the core. I love to take pictures. I love digital memories. Like I've been on TikTok since TikTok was a thing. Like I'm a social media girly. I like it. I like to share my story. I like to share my life. I like to talk. I have a podcast, for Pete's sake. Like what are we going to do here? Like I obviously like to talk, and if you don't like that I am out there on social media, that sounds like it's your own problem, and it sounds like an own insecurity of yours that I don't frankly have time for. And if you're insecure about it, that's okay, but that's not for me. Thank you, next. Thank you, next. Number 6. I like to call this one mama boy syndrome. I've dealt with this one many, many times. Pay attention to how he treats his mom and his female relatives. So, if he's too dependent on his mom or disrespectful to his mom, this behavior is going to extend to you eventually. If he is always relying on his mom to get him a job, or if he is relying on his mommy to make him dinner, are you self-sufficient? What can you do? What can you do, sir? I'm waiting. I'm waiting to hear what you can do. Nothing. Okay. So if you can't do anything by yourself without your mom, what can you do for me that I can't do for myself? So I'm not here to be your mom. Let me just say that. I'm not here to be your mom. And I think that's where a lot of guys these days are getting it twisted. Like they want a mother. Like they have mother problems. They have mommy issues. I don't know why. I don't know what the moms did to them, but please stop, because they're ruining lots of girls' young adolescent lives whenever they do that. So, yeah. Number 7. They have no drive or independence. So somebody who lacks ambition and sees basic adulting skills like paying bills, cooking, getting your own gas, having a job, doing the things that one does as an adult, that's not a personality trait. Congratulations. You're doing the basic bare minimum of things that you should be doing. Like, that's what we're all doing. We're all trying to do it. Yeah, it's not easy sometimes, but we're all trying to do that. And if you make that a personality trait and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm the best for doing that, like, no, you're not, because everyone else is doing that. What sets you apart from doing that? Like, I do that too. And I'm not out here being like, oh my gosh, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm doing all this. Like, it's just part of what you do. That's just part of being a grown up. Anyways, yeah. Number 8, peer pressure king. So I had a little cute one of these back in my day, you know, where they would just try to get me to. I'm not a big drinker, okay? I don't really love drinking. I've never liked the taste of alcohol. I'll take a cocktail at the bar, maybe one, maybe 2 if I'm feeling spicy, but usually just one. And if you're, number 1, trying to control my alcohol intake whenever you're drinking way more than me, that's also a red flag, number 1, that I didn't even think about until just now. But whenever they are over consuming alcohol and then I'm like they say they don't want me to get drunk at the bar and be sloppy because like they have to babysit me like after 2 drinks. I'm just having a good time and I'm just being silly. Like I'm not being overbearing or anything. Whenever I'm telling you I don't want to drink, like I don't have a problem if you want to drink, go off, but I don't like to drink, number one, because it makes me feel like shit the next day. Number two, it messes with my gains of like trying to grow my muscles at all, because whenever you drink, you're just like you're just messing up all of the work that you just did, honestly, and like at the gym. And if you see me here like trying to be a skinny legend and like trying to get toned and trying to look right and do better, and you're still like trying to get me to drink, like why are you trying to get me to drink more whenever we're together, but whenever we're like at a bar or in a public setting, I'm too much drinking, like for having 2 drinks? That's not cool. Don't be controlling of somebody's alcohol intake. Like that's weird. Drink whatever you want and let me drink whatever I want. If I don't want to drink, don't pressure me into drinking. And if I do want to have more than 1 drink, let me. Like you're not my freaking like sobriety counselor. So, number 9 is misogyny alert. If he treats the women that he's not interested in too poorly, that behavior will also eventually extend to you. So if he's talking badly about those girls that are walking past y'all while y'all are going somewhere together, and he's like, oh my gosh, that girl over there is so fat, she looks like a whale, like whispering that to you, what do you think he's gonna say behind your back to his boyfriends, like to his guy friends? Like, observe how he's talking to other women around him. How is he treating the server at the restaurant? How is he talking to the cashier at that store that y'all went to? Is he rude? Is he nice? Even if he is nice, that doesn't always mean he's a good one, though. He could just be really good at putting on a front. And that's another thing you want to watch for, because if he treats women that he's not interested in poorly, this will eventually extend to you, because whenever you're no longer the shiny piece anymore, the shiny new prize, he is going to talk about you to somebody else. That's just the way it is. And if that's the way it is, you got to get out of that situation. 10. He has terrible friends. Or she. I mean, it could be he or she, but you know, in my case, it's a he. He has terrible friends. His friends are a direct reflection of who he is. So if they're rude, if they're toxic, immature, don't have jobs, slobs, messes, list goes on, you might want to reconsider the entire group package, because his friends are just an extension of who he is. So if they don't have drive in life, they don't have ambition, if they don't have their lives together, you think he's going to have his life together? Absolutely not. And if he portrays it like he does and his friends don't, odds are he probably doesn't, or he's just a really good liar. So in which case, you don't want that. Number 11, he is a passionless partner. He does not support your goals. He doesn't support your dreams or your passions. You need somebody who lifts you up and not tears you down. And I feel like this kind of repeats along with belittling your interests. Like, he doesn't ask you about your interests. He doesn't praise you for your interests. You don't have to be all for everything that I am, but you at least have to acknowledge like what I do and act like you care about it. Because like for me, whenever I'm in a relationship, I'm adopting things that my partner loves, and I'm doing it and I'm learning it because I love my partner. So like, for an example, in one of my relationships, my partner loved the Astros. So I started like, I got an Astros shirt. I got an Astros shirt for him. I wanted him to feel like that I supported his passions and his hobbies. And if I don't feel like you support me, I don't want that, because I can support myself. And what can you do for me that I can't do for myself or can't do better for myself? And the next one is he gaslights your emotions. Oh, number 12, he gaslights your emotions. These are top relationship red flags you should ignore. I mean, you shouldn't ignore. So yeah, he makes you feel crazy for your emotions and he invalidates you for your emotions. That is emotional manipulation 101. I am the queen of being in situations like this and not knowing it until like 4 months later. So good luck, Charlie. You don't want that. So ways to get out of this is if they're like, I don't even know what gaslighting is. They're lying. They know exactly what they're saying to you and they know exactly how it's making you feel, but they hope that you don't know how it's making you feel and they hope that you don't have the self-respect enough to walk away from that abuse, because gaslighting is a huge form of abuse, of psychological and emotional abuse that nobody should be putting their partners through. And if you do put your partner through that, you should go to counseling because that's not cool. Don't make somebody feel crazy for their feelings. Like, it's like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but it's your fault. Like, if you're always playing the victim, that's not cool. You need to take accountability for things that you've said and things that you've done. And if you said something that hurt my feelings and you can't even acknowledge that it hurt my feelings and you're just like, well, I meant it like this. You took it the wrong way. You did this, you did that. And it's constantly a you statement, I, instead of trying to own up for what they did. That's a red flag. And that is something that they will continue to perfect and do down the line in worse situations. Like, you don't want to be in a house with 2 kids with somebody who's going to be gaslighting you and being like, oh yeah, I didn't hit you. You just fell. No, he pushed her down the stairs. She didn't just fall. He hit her. Go see freaking It Ends With Us if you need an example of gaslighting. He literally told her that she fell down the stairs whenever he pushed her. That is what a gaslighter does. He's telling you something false. So that is my tangent on gaslighting. If you don't know what it is, you should educate yourself. Next. 13. Whenever they're isolating you from your loved ones or people that you love, and they're subtly or not so subtly trying to distance you from your friends and family. A healthy partner, on the other hand, will encourage and not hinder your relationships with others. A healthy partner will make you want to get closer with your parents, will want you to improve your friendships, will want you to blossom in life, not keep you away from the people that you love the most. Because hurt people, and broken people want you to be broken with them. So misery loves company. So he is going to try to isolate you, to have you all to himself. And once he does have you all to himself, you're stuck. And then he's emotionally incompetent and you can't break free of that. And then you'll be stuck in that for the rest of your life. And you don't want that. So yeah. So number 14, first date red flags. Splitting the bill on the first date isn't about equality. It's about effort. And if he doesn't even try to impress you, what happens when the real challenges hit? I've been on a few first dates where I was asked to pay for it. That was the most bizarre thing. One time I somehow got roped into paying for a whole date, even though I was the one who got asked on it. I don't know how. Never spoke to him again. Never will speak to him again. But if you ask me on a date, you're paying for the date. I'm leaving my wallet at home. The only thing in my purse is my lip gloss and maybe, like, I don't know, maybe some eyelash serum or something. I don't know. A hairbrush maybe? I don't know. Something. And if I'm pretending to pull out my wallet, it's a nice gesture, but hopefully you have yours, because if you don't, well, then we're both screwed and we'll be going to jail together. So, yeah. Number 15, chivalry. What's that? So if he doesn't know how to open the door for you or wait until you're inside before he drives off and leaves, that's a small sign that he lacks care for you and attention to detail. You want somebody who is going to enhance your life, not somebody who is going to make you question yourself. And if you're already questioning yourself and you've been in this relationship for like just a few months, it's only going to get worse with time. So that's what I have to say about that. Number 16. I already touched upon this one, but victim mentality. If they're always the victim in every single story that they tell you, blaming everyone but themselves, beware. He eventually will turn that narrative on you, and you are going to be the bad guy in his story. And sometimes you have to be the bad guy in somebody else's story, even though you were the good guy. And it's hard because you don't want to be the bad guy. You're confused how you ended up being the bad guy in the first place, but somehow you wound up that title because they played the victim card on you one too many times. And somehow you just started to become the bad guy. Okay, number 17, narcissistic tendencies. Somebody who's always taking, never giving back. I'm pouring into your cup so much. I'm pouring all of my cup into your cup. I have nothing left in my cup at this point. If the relationship feels one-sided right now, when you're doing all the emotional labor, it's time to reevaluate and walk away, because you don't want somebody who's a narcissist. That is terrifying. I somehow survived a narcissist. I don't know how. I got out of it. I've somehow survived a few narcissists, actually. There's no tips or tricks that I have. It's just you have to be able to know if they are full of doggy dump, because sometimes people are, and they will trick you. They will put on a good front for the first 3 to 5 months, but you can't fake emotion that you don't have for that long for somebody that you actually care about, because eventually the truth is going to come out and you're going to say something that you shouldn't have said that you can't take back. And once you do that, you're done for. You're done for, and there's just no hope for you. So I don't even see the point in trying why you would try. Number 18, emotional manipulation. They use extreme tactics like threatening self-harm if you try to leave or break up with them, or if you get in a fight. That is extreme emotional abuse and psychological warfare on the individual that you are saying that to, because especially very empathetic people do not take advantage of people's empathy and say that to somebody, because I don't take that lightly. Like, I've had people who have like died by suicide, and that is something that I don't take lightly, like, at all. I have had like those kind of thoughts before as a teenage girl, and like it was terrible, and I don't want to feel like that. I don't want my partner to feel like that. So whenever you say something like that and then you just throw around those words like that means nothing, it's very damaging to me, and it makes me not believe anything you say. So it's like, what else, like, what do you say? Like, do you actually mean anything you say to me then? Like, what do your words mean? What is your word to me? Your word is literally nothing if you're gonna say those words and then just say, oh, I'm just kidding, I take it back. But they're like, I just said that because I was just trying. They said that because they're trying to get emotional control over you, and that's the only way that they could, because they know that you're slipping away from them, and that's the perfect way to pull you back in. So if that's the situation, you need to see yourself out. Talk to some people who really love you and will give you that hard conversation, but you don't want to be in that. You don't. Number 19, he disrespects your circle. So if they talk badly about your friends or family, he's trying to isolate you. This is another way for people to isolate you. It's a major control tactic. If they are trying to get control over you, they will start isolating you from your friends and family. They will cause strife between your loved ones. There will be a wedge between you and your family if you've been in a relationship where you can feel that person causing a rift between you and your family. It's because they want you all to themselves and they want to isolate you. The right person won't want that. The right person will want to see you thrive and grow and blossom and be with the people that you love, because that's normal. Like, what? I hate this one. The all change empty promises. Number 20. Whenever he says all change, constantly saying, waiting for him to change, constantly waiting for his actions to match his words, but they never match. His words don't match his actions, and you can't keep waiting for him to match, because you deserve someone who's working on themselves, not just talking about it. It's not going to happen when we're married. You're not going to change, and I'm not going to sit here and wait around for you to change if you have no intention of doing so, because I on the other hand, work every single day to better myself some way, shape, or form. And if my partner isn't on that same level and same wave as me, it messes my flow up and it messes my peace because I want to get better myself. If my life partner doesn't want to get better, then like, what do I have? You are who you surround yourself with. So if the person I'm surrounding myself with is a lazy sack of shit, I'm also going to be a lazy sack of shit. That two lazy sacks of shit isn't better than one. Let him be a lazy sack of shit by himself, okay? None of that. Number 21. This is the soul crusher. He walks away easily. If he gives up on things as soon as they get tough, that's not your soulmate. A soulmate will stick around and fight for the relationship. If you express a problem to them and they're not willing to fix it, or they turn it around into something that it's not, that is not your soulmate. Your soulmate won't leave when it gets hard. And if you did try to say something and they just left and moved on 2 weeks later, they weren't your soulmate. They weren't your soulmate. And it's time for you to let go of that idea of them in your head, because it's just the potential that you're seeing, and you're seeing the love that you see in them is just what you would actually do in their situation if you were in their shoes. And that's why it's hard for you to let go, because you were seeing the love that you would give to yourself in the situation. And you deserve better than mediocrity. You deserve better than settling for this for the rest of your life. And you deserve somebody who is going to fill your cup and not just dump all of it out into the Vermilion River, because that's what it felt like. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I make new videos every Friday, new episodes every Friday. Follow me on Instagram at Eleanor Rose Kramer, at What the Elle Podcast _ and at Elle is at the Gym. Also follow my photography account, Eleanor Rose Kramer, Eleanor Rose Photography, and follow me on TikTok at Eleanor Rose Kramer _ and keep listening to my podcast. Thank you for being here, guys. I love all of you so much, and I hope you have the best weekend ever. So with that, I hope you stay savage, stay sexy, and stay tuned for another episode of What the Elle every Friday. Love you. Bye. Hi.